All right, guys, today we're going to start weaving. You're going to fold your paper in half to begin, and we're going to use a ruler to measure. The first thing I want to do is lay my ruler on the side that opens. So on my paper, this is the side where I can open it like a book. I'm laying the ruler down and making a straight line. Now I want to use my ruler to measure and make a little mark every 2 inches. So it's like I'm counting by 2. So at 2, at 4, 6, 8, I'm making a mark. Now at each of those marks, I want to make a straight line that goes from my first line to the fold of my paper. We want our marks to be spaced out every 2 inches. And this is a way to ensure that. Now, before you start cutting today, I want you to show me your work. So show me, and I will just do a quick double check to make sure that you actually have your lines in the right spot. Then you get to use funky scissors. They're very fun. If you look at the funky scissors, there's a small little line on each of them, and that line shows you what the cut will look like. They're a little bit hard to use. When you use them, you need to make sure they're opened all the way and then closed down. It does make your hand a little bit tired because they're harder to use than normal scissors, but you do get a really fun line. You want to make sure that you're staying on that line you made with the pencil and that you don't have a line that sort of travels around your paper. That'll make it more difficult for you in the long run. And one more. My hand is really starting to get tired, so I have to make sure that I just stay focused and really do my best here. All right, now I'm going to open it up, and I have what's called a loom. A loom is what you weave onto. So now I'm going to start the weaving pattern. Over, under, over, under, over, under. Then I scoot it to the side. The scooting can be a little hard when you use those funky scissors. Now I'm starting my next one the opposite way. Under, over. Under, over. Under, over. Then opposite again, over, under, over, under. Now my next one, I'm starting the wrong way. I'm going to show you what it looks like if you do it incorrectly. I started it the same way I did my last one, and you can see my lines are kind of running into each other, and instead of looking like a checkerboard, they just kind of look like stripes, and that's not what you're going for. You want to make sure that you start each one the opposite direction from the last. If you do this correctly, your paper is going to look like a really funky checkerboard. You'll continue like that all the way across your paper. And I want you guys to pinky promise me that you're not going to get frustrated, because this can be frustrating for some people at first. You'll make mistakes, but don't worry. Work through your mistakes and ask for help when you need it. Make sure that at no point you don't take your whole weaving apart. Sometimes people will run into a little error and their first reaction is to take it all apart. Please don't do that. Ask me for help. Usually we can fix your problem. And continuing. Now I did a little fast forward here and I'm ready for gluing. I'm going to go across the top and glue each strip at the top. I'm not adding any glue in the middle. All I need is the top and the bottom. So going all the way across the top and securing. Now I'm going to the bottom. lifting each one right at the bottom and putting a little dab of glue underneath. Now I'm gonna flip it to the back and do the exact same thing. I'm just lifting along the bottom and the top and putting a little dot of glue. It gets tricky when people try to put glue in the middle, and it's really not necessary. So just the top and the bottom on the front and the back. All right, now I'm gonna use symmetry to stitch a design on top. I'm gonna make a heart. I'll give you a few different choices, but I'll make a heart here because it's fairly simple. I made half of my shape on the fold. Now I'm going to use scissors and I'm gonna cut around. You'll see that I wind up with a heart, but I also end up with a heart-shaped hole, and that's what I want today. This is my negative space. I'm going to just glue it with a little bit of glue to keep it in place, and then we're gonna stitch it on. Now I punched holes for you, so you don't need to worry about that. You start with a piece of yarn, and you tie a knot to begin. So I'm just making a loop going around and through. Now I'm gonna take my yarn and I'm gonna go through the hole. When I pull, I wind up with a little loop. I go through the loop. So go through the hole, then take my yarn back through the loop and gently pull. Through the hole, through the loop, gently pull. When I turn corners, I just do that same thing. Oop, my hole's a little bit off because mine wasn't glued. I'm going through the hole, then through the loop, and gently pulling. If I pull hard, I might actually rip my paper. Through the hole, and then through the loop. Gently pull. You work like that until you run out of yarn. Through the hole, through the loop, gently pull. When you run out of yarn, you simply tie a new piece to that yarn. So it's just like that knot that I make when I tie my shoes, the first knot. I'm going around and through, and gently pull. And then I just continue. I'm gonna keep going around all 4 sides. Whenever I go around a corner, I do the same thing where I just go through the hole, through the loop, and keep rolling. You'll do this until all 4 sides are stitched. When you're done, you're gonna wind up with 2 tails next to each other. All you do is tie those tails together. And now I'm done. I have a weaving that uses symmetry.